Stand up and step into the future. This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to episode 48 of Paradigm Shift Radio. On this episode, we started off the discussion talking about the March Against Monsanto event and how an event like this can help educate, inspire, and empower us to stand up for what we believe in. From there, we brought on my good friend Joe from British Columbia, who is responsible for manifesting Spacelite into this reality, a natural alkaline electrolyte health formula that can help us balance out our pH levels, assist in muscle development, prevent acidic buildup that causes muscle burn, help increase athletic endurance, treat cancer pains, and much more. Go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/spacelite, SPACELITE, to watch the full-length film me and Joe made. If you're interested in getting some for yourself, I have a limited amount to mail out, so feel free to message me about it on Facebook. In addition to Spacelite, we talked about fruits and diets and sugars and more. Join us again for future episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio to get involved with the ongoing conversation, help share this episode around, and enjoy the show. The future lies before you, like a path of pure white snow. Be careful how you tread in it, for every step will show. This is Skull Babylon, aka Brendon Wolfshield Culleton, tonight on a very special full moon edition of Paradigm Shift Radio, and a big shout out to everybody who's joining us in the live chat. And obviously, I'd like to just be able to really get into this episode, guys. So just really covering the basis off the top of the show, emphasis on getting the word out there and getting people involved with what we can help create this episode into. And there's a few things that we'll be talking about off the top of the show. I'm going to bring our buddy Rain onto the episode, and we're going to talk about the March Against Monsanto, which happened all across the world today, and I was a part of that in my local community of London, Ontario, Canada. And I know Rain was involved with that, so we're going to talk about that, and then we're probably going to talk about like full moons and synchronicities and stuff that happened to us during the day, and we'll just sort of see where it goes from there. But just off the top of the show, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is the website you want to check out. If you haven't checked it out yet, Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio is the place that you can go to check the regular updates for the Paradigm Shift community, and that's where you'll find the YouTube version of every episode once it gets posted, and of course continue to check those out, and those will be up within 24 hours of after the show going live. And those of you who have been following in the past, you know about the Journey to Lucidity project, which is a film that I am literally, like, it's really close to going out the door in terms of, like, those of you who have contributed to the fund are going to be able to actually watch it very soon in the near future once I get the full-length version of it up on YouTube. And of course, go to GoFundMe.com/Journey2Lucidity and Facebook.com/Journey2Lucidity for updates on that. And to view the movie, all you gotta do is contribute at the GoFundMe page. So whether it be $11, whether it be $22, whatever you feel that this consciousness shifting art that I'm putting my energy into, whatever you would like to contribute is greatly appreciated. Obviously, just by checking out the trailer and sharing it in that way, that is a contribution of energy as well. And just a quick recap: that's a movie about like me going out to a transformational festival, and it's about conscious expanding ideas, and also gets into the topic of lucid dreaming. And I'm really happy like with how it turned out. And last night I was up till 5 a.m. just polishing it over, and it's got a runtime of about 96 minutes, so it actually is like a full-length movie. It's pretty different from my previous movie, the 3 Days of Light, which probably most of you have already seen at this point, so that'll be good. Like it won't literally, it will be very fresh for a lot of you watching it. It won't feel like the same thing twice, and I'm happy with how it turned out. So of course, check that out and stay tuned for that, and I'm really, really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So that's some really exciting news off the top of the show. But other than that, there really isn't too much that we need to mention other than just the obvious stuff that Paradigm Shift is a global community of communities across the world that are encouraging open-mindedness, healthy living, and the evolution of consciousness. I'm, of course, with Paradigm Shift London, Facebook.com/Paradigm Shift London, and, of course, you can add me at YouTube.com/Skull Babylon, Facebook.com/Skull Babylon. Hook up with me there, and the communities, I mean, a big emphasis that I put on this, like, is being able to have those physical meetings and being able to build a tribe and being able to practice having conversation, which is exactly what this digital roundtable is going to be about tonight. It's going to be about us coming together and practicing, facilitating conversation for the exponential growth of our species as we continue to be a reflective lens for one another and bounce ideas back and forth as we share our experiences and continue to learn. And I will have some files up in the next few days, so keep an eye on Paradigm Shift Central, Facebook.com/Paradigm facebook.com/ParadigmShiftCentral. That's kind of like the main hub for all the communities and specific updates about new communities. And keep an eye on that, because I'm going to be posting some Photoshop files of some posters that I use for our Paradigm Shift London community that I want to share with you guys. So anybody with Photoshop will be able to edit them and just put in your own information, such as your Facebook page and the location of your meetings, and blast those out around town. And I even got some like quarter-page versions, and I handed out a bunch of those today at the march that I was involved with. So those things are really useful, and of course you can synchronistically leave those in places and people will be drawn to them, and those are really important. There's a lot of people out there who are interested in this type of consciousness expanding discussion. You know, like a lot of people might be in a situation where they're kind of going through school and they're just like, is this all it is? Like, you know, just like get an education, get a job, get married, have kids, and die. Like, is this, you know, a lot of people are just like, no, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something more. And more people are looking for those other people to have that conversation with, and they're looking for people to be able to bounce those ideas off of. So it's part of our responsibility to extend our branches and be able to connect with those people, knowing that we're already connected synchronistically. And that's part of how building the tribe takes place. We have to have those visionary aspects within our character traits to be able to see a future ahead of us and then be able to manifest it into this material realm. So I have the utmost faith and the utmost like belief and trust in what we are capable of, and that's why I'm here to support you as your fellow shifter in this journey as we continue to awaken within the dream and continue to awaken other people up. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some personal stuff that happened during the day, just some really cool stories. And like I said, it's a full moon, so like I got I got a lot of energy today, and I've just been really just riding on some really like positive vibes. So expect a good show tonight. And of course, like I said, we currently, based on like the live chat, we only have 22 people in the live chat. I would love to see that increase some more. So if you happen to have a page that you're operating, please continue to boost it out there throughout the show. And of course, we will be doing a group meditation later on in the episode. But that said, we're going to bring Rain on from here. And of course, if anybody else would like to be involved in this roundtable discussion, now is the time to already call in. Like, this meeting is officially underway. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, if you have something that you want to add, we don't super specifically have like one single topic on the show tonight, so we're really kind of keeping it open. But of course, just be mindful and try to just remember that this is just practice. So don't feel overwhelmed, don't feel intimidated, but be encouraged, be inspired, have fun with this platform that we've created for ourselves. This is a digital playground for us to be able to swap ideas back and forth with each other. So check out all those links previously mentioned, and you guys know the rest of the deal. But with that said, let's get into what this episode will continue to be, and that's kind of up in the air from this point, but I'm sure it's going to be whatever it needs to be, right? So that's usually how it works out. All right, so Rain, I'm going to bring you onto the air, and then we'll go from there. So Rain, here we go.
Hey, happy full moon.
For sure, man, for sure. Like, this doesn't happen very often, that Paradigm Shift Radio literally falls on the night of a full moon. I mean, sometimes it's like, you know, a day or two off. So this is actually a rare occasion, and I think it will be reflected in what sort of happens here on the show tonight. You know, maybe we'll get some like crazy people calling in and like channeling on the spot, or, you know, maybe we'll get like some like aliens calling in or something. I don't know. Do aliens have phones? I've always wondered that, you know, like if aliens like are on Facebook or something.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, man. Just trolling it. YOLO. No, I'm sure. They started. So, Rain, going back to the topic of March Against Monsanto, like that's a really big thing that happened today, and maybe we can just give like a bit of a recap for those who may not be entirely brought up to speed to it. Because one thing that actually caught my attention with what happened in our community in London, Ontario, we did our march, and I actually showed up a little bit late for the march, so I was on my skateboard and I caught it halfway, and I was videotaping it, so there will be like a journalism video that I'm going to be up on. It's going to be up on my YouTube channel eventually. And one of the things that was really interesting is that where London how it's sort of mapped out, there's like this one central park downtown, and they usually have festivals there. And today there was like this big road hockey tournament. Like, there's a whole bunch of people there. So then the park is right next to City Hall. So what ended up happening is that once we went around the huge block and got back to City Hall, there's a lot of younger kids who were wandering over to our protest and were like, you know, what's going on? So then there were a couple times where I was like trying to explain to them, like, hey, you know, like, this is the gist. This is like what this is about. So I'd be curious, like, Rain, kind of like explain, just like talking to us and like having a conversation here, how would you go about explaining what today was about to someone who otherwise didn't know anything about it and just stumbled upon it, so to speak?
Well, I definitely saw a lot of people today sort of looking on and being like, what the heck is this? Like, 'cause I live in Salt Lake City, and we did the march down through the Mormon church around the, essentially around the temple. Like, the Mormon church owns Main Street, so we had to literally stay off parts of Main Street because we could have all been arrested just for being there.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of people like, oh, what is this? This riot? Like, there's a lot of people that didn't know at all what was going on. Partially maybe because there were some people that were swearing and being a little excited. But
right, Brent.
Mostly people, like, it seemed like every other car was honking and waving. Like, everybody just was like, yes, like, people are doing something. Like, maybe they didn't know exactly, maybe they don't know about Monsanto, maybe they don't know what the march is all about, but I feel like most everybody was excited just to see people out and about and expressing an opinion and messages, sending messages.
So what, I mean, kind of going back to my original question, like, what was today about in your words? What were we doing today? Like, even just explaining, like, who is Monsanto, right? For those who don't know.
Monsanto is a company who now, they do all sorts of things. They used to make Agent Orange, which was a chemical used in warfare, and now they're mostly using, they're genetically modifying seeds and buying up patents for seeds. They were actually the first people who have ever patented life, which is a very scary, powerful thing to be doing. And they are focusing on Roundup-ready crops, which basically, Roundup is a pesticide, and this is a Roundup Ready, so it's able to have pesticides on it without any problems. Or Roundup is a weed, herbicide more like, so it's able to have Roundup, an herbicide, on it without dying, and it's due to genetic modification. It's extremely harmful health-wise to us, and they're doing all sorts of genetic modifications and buying up all sorts of seeds and basically trying to own the world's seed banks. They're buying up seed banks, and they want to control the food source essentially. And today, I believe, was just sort of rising up. It was a march against Monsanto. It was against all of that. It was, if nothing else, it was sending the message that yes, we are willing to march. We are willing to stand up, get up, stand up for our rights.
Yeah, like the one thing that when I sort of decided that I was going to be going to this, like I wanted to bring my own sort of like approach and angle into it, and you're right, like the even just the word like of sort of like the main thing, like march against Monsanto, like this is kind of going back to something that was originally brought up in episode 46 with Jamaica Stevens, and is even in the Journey to Lucidity movie, and like that's this idea of like the shift from like the warrior to the guardian mentality. And that's where I was saying, like, you know, like, okay guys, like I understand where we're coming from, and like we're upset that our food is being genetically modified and we're like losing nutritional value out of it, and pretty much we're becoming walking like science experiments for these companies because the stuff hasn't really been tested like beyond like, you know, within a certain amount of time, like generations and stuff like that. So we still don't know like the long term, and obviously like if it's not like, it's not in our best interest if we don't technically need it to survive in the first place, but you know, they'd probably tell us otherwise. But what I want to bring into it is say like, okay, like rather than just saying this is a march against Monsanto, like I think this is something where we should look at as being like, this is like a rally like for what we believe in, you know, this is us standing up to say like we are here for like clean soil and like organic farming and like, you know, gardening our vegetables and like getting clean water and fresh air and all those things that are within like our alignment that we naturally desire, because we know that like those are things that are healthy for us. And ultimately, kind of going back to like what I was talking about, how there were like younger kids kind of like wandering in on this, like that's a big reason why we're doing this, right? Because we want to be able to like help sustain a future that like our children are actually going to be able to thrive in, like rather than just like continuously feeding them stuff that is, I mean, it will keep them alive, but I mean, well, there's been technical studies that I've heard of like things like based on some GMOs that like have resulted in like cancer growth like within like people. And I mean there's like a really sad picture like that was posted on my page like not too long ago, and it was like of the effects that it had even just on like rat, lab rats, and like they grew like tumors and stuff like that, right? So I mean, it's just
Definitely.
those rats are obviously quite sensitive to whatever's being like ingested into them, and we might be a little bit different from a lab rat, but if it's not serving them, then it's definitely not serving us. So I mean, yeah, like I think there were some really good points that were brought up today at the meeting when I was talking to people and I was going around interviewing them and asking them, like, what does this march mean to you? And one lady in particular, Jamie, she brought up this idea of like kind of I forget the term that she used. I think she sort of used like alpha tribe, like alpha something, but it was referring to the fact of like the alpha origins of like a species in the same way that like dogs sort of root back to wolves. Like all dogs actually root back like to the origins of wolf. In the same way that like there's like specific crops, like specific corn that goes back centuries and centuries like ago that has been like passed on through generations. But then because of the genetically modified stuff that we're doing, we're actually like losing those. We're actually like losing like those like source seeds like that are actually just like what the vegetable like actually really is. And it's really just sort of like we're almost like making food become like we're like chasing it towards extinction based on what it originally was and what we're turning it into, which is like like a really scary thing. So
definitely. Yeah, heirloom varieties are just dwindling and dwindling, and that's what Monsanto's all about, is getting rid of all the heirloom varieties. Like in Europe, I think it was England, they possibly the whole UK, they were trying to outlaw heirloom seeds, and it was Monsanto behind the bill. But yeah, that's their goal, is to just control every bit of seeds. And yeah, like you said, I think today for most people it wasn't as much as like a march against Monsanto as much as it was spreading the word of organic heirloom gardening, eating from the produce section. Like that's basically mostly what people talked about. When people would get up and talk about who Monsanto was, it was like there was just sort of like this solemn, like depressed sort of feel going on in the crowd, of course. And then anytime anybody was like, "Oh, we need to grow our own food," everybody would be like,
clean water, yeah. Same with us.
Totally. So,
yeah.
Like I just wanted to get up there and talk, because a lot of people were just being such downers about the whole thing. So I bought a few cases of mangoes, and I just went around and passed out mangoes to people, and
cool.
Like, eat more plants. Don't even worry about Monsanto. Just eat more plants.
yeah, for sure, man. That's good. Yeah, like I think I forget what I was going to say there for a second. I was just going to I was just going to like talk about like I mean Monsanto's like around for a while too. Like they're like I mean what you even said, like they're actually involved with like producing Agent Orange, eh? Like I think I heard that, but I mean just when you sort of said it again, I was like, sons of bitches. Like like who are these guys? But like even if you sort of step back, we can say, because I mean it's not like there's like one guy at Monsanto who's like a villain sitting behind a desk or something, right? But it's really hard for us to sort of see inside of like what these companies are like mentally processing and things like that, like how it's actually happening. Like it almost seems that like in some way that there's like people involved in this, and that the machines just like grown beyond their control, and there's like, well, like we can't stop it now. There's like too much invested, there's too many companies who are invested in this, and it's hard for them to just like turn it around. But we'll see what happens based on even just like the turnout of today. But it's just kind of interesting when you look at it from like, if you were to really go up like just another level on like what this whole Monsanto thing is doing, like as crappy as it is, if you were to look at this from like a consciousness level, understanding that everything is there for us to go through as a lesson, then it's like Monsanto is there like threatening and taking away like what we value in order for us to go through the experience of recognizing what it is that we really want, and then stepping into ourself and our power and empowering ourselves and like saying like, this is like what we're willing to do to like get it. Because I mean, if things were just like peachy keen and perfect and stuff like that, like, not to say like that wouldn't be fun, because I mean that's, you know, ideally what we want to work towards, but we sort of wouldn't have that chance to grow. We wouldn't really go through like those growing experiences as like a bigger conscious community. Like what was caused through today really helped strengthen people like a lot. It connected people, it brought people together, it created like more community, you know, like neurons that like fire together, wire together sort of thing. So I think as negative, you know, again, like it's hard to say, like I don't even like to say like, oh, this is a negative thing, this is a positive thing. Like it's all a neutral thing. So I mean, yes, Monsanto is not what I prefer, but at the same time, part of me is really excited about the fact that because of all this Monsanto stuff, it's encouraging people to really step forward and figure out what it is that they actually want, and then to like take action in doing that. And that's like a really beautiful thing, to put it like such and such. So
yeah, definitely, I agree. I mean, I think that's the most healthy way to look at life. See all the negative, so-called negative things as neutral learning experiences. And I mean, if we were born into, let's say, the fruit forest of Africa where we evolved, we would just be having fun our whole lives, and we wouldn't get to learn all these lessons. And yeah, that might be awesome, but I don't think that's what life's all about.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, what other stuff should we sort of, because I mean, no one else is called in right now. If anybody else wants to call in and chime in on this Monsanto stuff, that's cool. We can always sort of jump off to another topic. I'm just any sort of like interesting experiences that happened with your march today. I'm just trying to think of like anything that sort of happened with what we were doing.
Yeah, I was aside from handing out mangoes, I was sort of the unofficial photographer, videographer for the whole thing.
Oh, sweet.
So I should be putting up a video here in the next couple of days. And I just saw, like, cops almost escorted us. Like, not that they really respected what we were doing, but they didn't bother us at all. They just kind of helped us along, like, sort of I don't know, it was great, and I think they were just kind of trying to keep order, of course, as much as they possibly could.
Yeah, just make sure no one's getting hit by cars and stuff like that. Like, that's when cops are actually useful. I mean, I'm not, don't get me wrong, like, me saying that doesn't mean I'm against cops. Like, I think cops, you know, actually do serve a purpose, like all things, obviously. And yeah, no, it was kind of, we did take to the streets. There was like in London, like there was a good enough amount of us that we actually like stretched like a good like block or two almost. Like there was quite a lot of people, so it was really cool, like going on my skateboard and getting some footage of that. So I mean, yeah, but again, like that's kind of stuff that you have to do. Like it's empowering. It's sort of like a very like ceremonial thing. It brings people together, and as long as everybody's like being safe about it, it's you know, it might be like slowing some guy down in traffic for like 5 minutes that he was probably going to waste anyways. So by the end of the day, like it's a very positive thing. And one thing that I noticed with what we were doing, there was no official media with where we were. I think also because of the event that was happening at the festival, like right next to where we were, it might have made it difficult for them to get to where we were. But everyone who was like there filming was like just an individual with a camera. So I mean, that was an important part that I sort of like recognized my role as. I'm like, you know, like we can't depend on like the 6 o'clock news to like tell this story. That's why we have to document this story for ourselves. And yeah, so it'll be cool to see what I get out of that, and I'll be editing that over the next few days. But awesome, yeah, like this is definitely like, you know, where we need to like step up and say like, this is what we're here for, this is what we're doing, and be able to tell our own story rather than having it be told by it, you know, for us by someone else.
For sure.
Step into it. So yeah, but yeah. Other than that, though, or sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's really that easy, just like to just create a Facebook like group or something. My friend, recently there was this woman over on the west side in Salt Lake City, and she was filming some animal cruelty that was going on outside of a slaughterhouse. Not that it's not normal for animal cruelty to be going on in a slaughterhouse, but it was outside, and she was just, I'm sure she's a vegan or something and wanted the footage, but she was arrested and thrown in jail for some amount of time. She still would be in jail if so many people wouldn't have stood up and fought for her. And it just took a Facebook group that my friend put up, and she got like two or 300 people at her. It was called the Ag Gag Rally, and it helped this woman get her charges, if not dropped, then lessened greatly. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like you said, it's our time to step up, and it couldn't be any easier. Just a few clicks of the button to bring people together.
Yeah. So like hacktivism and just being able to use the tools that we got. So that's always it's always key stuff. And I think there is probably like more to like this Monsanto conversation. And I think if we get into that, that's really awesome. I was just gonna mention like today with the rest of my day, like I was just kind of like bringing this back to just empowerment and embodying and just like synchronicity and like being in the flow and everything to that. Like today I was like really, really noticing it. I just sort of like left my house with like feeling really good, and I like met some new friends like at the park, and that was like really awesome. It was funny because like I ended up finding these new friends because I was like skateboarding down the path, and then there was some ducks walking through the park, and there was like a white duck. So, and I'd never seen a white duck in the park before. So it was like following the white rabbit, but it was like a white duck. And then that like led me to a tree, and then like these like new people were there, and then I like hung out with them, and then got like talking to them with like some crazy like paradigm shifty stuff, and they were just like really interested in hearing what I was talking about, and I'd love to just like be able to reiterate some of what we were talking about, and I think that will come up because I do have some notes here just on like stuff that I wrote in my book and everything like that. But yeah, just kind of like I mean, it's hard for me to just like jump into things because I mean we were talking about like lucid dreaming, and we were talking about like auras and stuff, and then I went to the bookstore and left some pamphlets inside of the books there for like synchronistic reasons. And yeah, I mentioned I was reading like a book like all on auras and stuff, and one thing that actually really caught my interest was and I just read this out of the book, was the idea that aura, like the body itself, like replenishes like all the cells in its body every 7 years. And this is something that we've heard in some way or another, and it's not even just like for the physical body, like it's also like every 7 years, like the aura is like the energy field that like goes around our physical body, and then like over the course of like 7-year periods it actually adds on to itself. And it was just really interesting because it was going into specifics about like how different we are within the ages of like 1 to 7, and then like the 7 to 14 period, and then the 14 to 21 period, and just some like really relatable stuff that was pretty interesting. But I'm just sorry. I just got because I've got a couple people in the queue, and I just don't want to like totally get into that. But if anybody's interested in that, just remind me, and we can talk more about auras and stuff, and anything else that you guys are interested in. Like seriously, like it's hard for me. Like right now, I'm just like so many things to talk about. I'll just talk about nothing. Right? I will do that. So I'd rather hear what you guys want to talk about. So we're gonna bring on some other people who are in the queue here, and we'll turn this and get this into the community roundtable discussion. So that means that there's going to be at least 3, and then eventually 4 of us on the show, and we'll sort of bounce some ideas off of each other and reminding each other that this is all just practice. So caller from area code 661, we are going to bring you onto the air. Here we go. Hello, caller, can you hear us?
Yo, can you hear me?
Right on. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Jason. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Awesome, Jason. Jason, are you associated with the Paradigm Pennsylvania page?
No, I actually am from Maryland, and I'm probably leaving Pennsylvania pretty soon. I don't really know exactly at this point. I'm in kind of like a transitional thing right now, but
okay, cool. Well, I'll just mention that like there is a Paradigm Shift Pennsylvania for anybody else who might be in Pennsylvania who's interested in that. But Jason, what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
Well, you know what? Actually, what caught my ear was something that I don't know whether you or Rain said it like 10 minutes ago about you know, it was like about looking at things that you could see as negative, and
right?
Kind of, reframing that, or it was something along those lines. Hold on a second. Do you want to just go on for a second? I mean, if I at all, I might.
Sure. Yeah. There's Yeah, no. I mean, if you want to just take a second to just sort of like gather some thoughts, that's cool. We can. Is that what you want to do? That? Yeah. we got another caller who's in the queue, so we'll bring them on as well, and then we'll just sort of get everybody nice and comfortable here, and we'll go forward with that. So I believe this is actually quite possibly this next caller that I'm calling in is quite possibly, because it's a 604 area code, he's one of my buddies from Vancouver, and it may actually be Joe, who many of you know from the Journey to the West movie, which is about the Spacelite, which is an electrolyte formula that helps with like joint aches and cancer pains, and Joe helped figure it out, and he's a really cool guy, and I've been really waiting to bring him on, and it's taken up until this point, but I'm pretty sure this is Joe, so we're going to bring him on, and we're going to talk about probably MK Ultra and some other cool stuff involving like objects materializing and going through each other based on the guy named John Hutchinson. So we'll talk more about that as we bring Joe on. So Joe, if you can hear me, we're going to bring you onto the air now. Here we go.
Holy smokes.
Holy
hey,
smokes.
I'm on speakerphone.
Cool, man.
Hey, my friend's on the radio.
Yeah. Joe, are you like with people?
Yeah, I'm with my good friend Eric and my dad, actually. Yeah, it's a rare party. We were like, we brought ourselves together and we're hanging out.
Cool, man.
Hey,
well, Joe, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks for that intro, Brendon. You're the man. You're awesome.
Yeah, and spacelite.info for those of you who are interested. And I'm sure we can get talking about that. Like, Joe, do you have like a time limit on how long you can sort of hang out with us?
Well, we all have limited long distance plans, but my website .net is also the one I'm trying to show off lately.
Spacelite.net. I'll put that into the live chat right now. So but yeah, Joe, what would you like to bring to the show off the top of your head?
I've just been I've just been hoping to get on the show, for so long. So eventually, just to touch base with you guys, and I never really got to listen to the show enough. My sound card on my computer is kind of messed, and just still staying afloat. That's all we got to keep doing. There's people out there. Hey, my dad's with me. Me and my dad are hanging out. Here, let me ask my dad what he can say for the radio for a bit.
I guess he had quite a few beers, so you gotta forgive him.
Mr. Hatum, you have a wonderful son, and it's been a pleasure meeting him synchronistically those years back. So let me just say thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much for us.
Hey, we like to keep our homies close and our gangsters, our gang clique strong, right? So we got a network across North America. Like Brendon, he's been a leading champion here. He's been getting our network rolling, rocking through all the major cities of North America, and the ones that he hasn't been touching, I've been doing, and we've been like getting each other's back for quite a while now. And Los Angeles, Seattle, Arizona, like all the Arizona State, Phoenix, Colorado's got a big city there.
Are you talking about like locations that have like Spacelite hookups, or just like
New York,
communities?
Detroit, like the East Coast, everywhere. Florida, we got people everywhere, and
well, we do, man. We're global, so
this is amazing what we're doing here. This is amazing. Like, I don't know if everybody tuning into the show realizes how long or how much effort has been put into different directions, but what we have happening now is something that's never happened before, and maybe if I'm not explaining it right, someone can brief each other on it, and wow, like this thing only happens once every 400,000 millennia, so that's for your seatbelts, okay?
Yeah, quite right.
Don't blink, you might miss it.
Hey,
Joe,
I'll definitely say, can
go
you
ahead,
guys still
Jason,
hear me?
Yeah, Jason, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, just, to kind of interject there, definitely thanks a lot for bringing all this stuff together, man. I can see how many, chapters of it you had. I didn't notice if the Pennsylvania one's anywhere near me. It's probably near one of the big cities, which I'm nowhere near. But anyway, just having like some online community has been like a huge thing for me, because I don't even live near any of like my old friends, and I don't know anybody up here to have any idea who I could talk to this stuff about. So it's like, as I'm getting into it, to actually I don't know. It's like the friends that I'm mainly in touch with in my family. Like they're not like closed off to this stuff, and they don't like look at me like I'm crazy or anything. But they're not like receptive. I don't get any support for it really. They're like okay, you know. But there's no. I don't get anything back. You know, if I can say this stuff and I'm not getting any feedback or anything helpful, you know. And like I'm at a time where like I can use advice and supportive stuff. So, being able to get that from the online community, and also, a big thing for me right now is having that there as far as, just my doubts that I'm going through with limiting beliefs. It's been huge to just be able to, interact with people. And, I did, the Align Your Life program, and I've been talking to people through that, and Nathaniel and those guys. So,
creativeforce.com.
I hear you, man. Hey, you know what? Yeah. You're 100% on that shit because, okay, for one, the movie Unstoppable?
Yeah,
it's about the train that goes through Pennsylvania. You ever seen that movie?
I actually seen a bit of it, yeah.
Everybody check it out. The movie called Unstoppable. It's about a train that goes through Pennsylvania, where this guy's from. And it shows the true spirit. If you guys can hear me, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but this movie shows the true spirit of America, where people are helping each other, and that's what they care about. And they don't care about all crazy dogmas of different religions. They care about the now and the physical reality. And we gotta look out for each other.
Everywhere, man.
We gotta look out for each other. That's what this shit's all about. That's the symbolism with Pennsylvania that I see.
Camaraderie. Yeah, man. We gotta work together as a tribe, man. Like, one of the books that I was reading at the bookstore today, I was like reading a book called like Spirit of the Wolf, and it was like really affirming for me because it was just really sort of like helping me remember like how much of like the wolf spirit that like I'm actually like embodying and involved with, and to think that like I'm not the first person to do it. And like the native tribes, like there's a lot that they learned from the wolves. Like it was a really interesting read that I was getting out of it, and like just like they built their communities based on like how the wolves actually like lived like just within nature, in the way that as when a wolf cub is like born into the group, first of all it would be like a huge celebration, and they would like howl at the moon like when the cub is born, and then they would actually be like raising it as a community. So rather than just like the mother of the wolf raising it, like all of them would raise it, and different wolves would like step into the roles of others if like one was injured, and then it talked about like how the mature wolves would like let the younger wolves like hunt them. So they would like sort of like play around, like you see dogs like sort of play tackling and stuff, but like as wolves it would actually like let a baby wolf like attack it and sort of like bite it just for fun, because it wouldn't be able to like practice that against a deer at that point. So when it eventually gets like its first kill, like it already has experience just sort of like playing around with each other. And like one of the things that I mentioned in the top of the show, and it's something that like I'm really like just wanting to reiterate because it's super important. It's the idea of visioning and what it means to be like a visionary. And like the bottled down version of what it means to be a visionary is to basically be able to like see into the possible futures ahead of us, and then be able to like materialize that into the present. And Joe, I'm just going to bring you back on. I saw you like you dropped for some reason, so I'm just bringing you back in. But yeah, like basically like being a visionary is not something that needs to be like specific to a select few in this day and age. Like we all need to be visionaries. We all need to understand like how much potential we have. And for me, a big part of it is understanding that we actually exist like beyond the present moment. Like when people talk about being like multidimensional beings, like think of it in the same way that you take a tree and you turn it sideways. Like right in the middle, that's the now. The roots that go one way, that's the past. The roots that go the other way, that's the future. And from the now, we can like project new branches and then like align ourselves with those paths, like the Dharma based on our past episode, and really just like create. Like that is like what we totally need to do. And going back to like the wolf thing, and I'll let somebody else just jump in on this in a second. The wolf thing, like they were recognized for actually having like extrasensory perception. So what was really fascinating about the wolves based on the observation of the native tribes was the fact that the wolves were able to predict when like a herd of caribou was migrating. So rather than the wolves having to like chase them, the wolves would actually like dream ahead of time and know that the caribou would be moving to a specific location determine when and where, and then they would go there ahead of them and wait for them to show up. So the native tribes would actually follow the tracks of the wolves to know where the caribou migration was going to occur. And like the wolves were just like totally like in sync, and even when you think about like the wolf has like the snout, like the long snout, the gentle like sharp ears, like it can smell things from 2 miles away and it can hear things at 10 miles away, like in an open valley. So it's really interesting that like the wolves are really in tune with these like extrasensory abilities, and I think that's something that we need to remind ourselves that we too can like become more in tune with that, and that like, you know, goes in tune with like just like aligning with yourself and getting into like dream exploration and opening up to the idea that like we are not bound by like this physical illusion of reality. So somebody else wants to jump on that.
Wolfpack. Did you say that was a book or something?
Yeah, it was a book. It's a book called Spirit of the Wolf. Like I was reading it in chapters, and yeah, I could probably find it on somewhere. But I almost bought it. I might go back and buy it. It was really interesting. So yeah, because like Wolfpack, man, Wolf Tribe.
Spirit of the Wolf, is that what it was?
Yeah, Spirit of the Wolf is what the book was called. Yeah.
You know what, Brendon?
I mean that's actually one interesting idea about that to me is it seems like it's kind of like a more the wolf spirit kind of archetype seems like a more kind of actualized sort of a more actualized form of what a Cancerian can be, because I'm also a Cancerian, and I remember you saying that in one of your videos. It's actually it's one of the things that got me thinking about it a little more. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to astrology before. I hadn't looked into it too much, and you know, it's like you know, I do tend to like, you know, basically like go off on my own at times, and it's like, you know, rather than feeling like, you know, a crab like crawling into my shell or something, you know, it's like when I'm more confident with it and on top of stuff like I used to be, and you know, what I'm kind of working back towards is like where it's not, you know, it can be a much more empowering thing. And I don't know. I mean, I've been kind of drawn to that. I don't know much about the power animal stuff, the spirit animals, and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you really learn
I think
about
Joe's
that?
got a point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey guys. Hi. I'm a animal. I'm a rebel animal. I used to think about symbolism and all that kind of stuff, whatever. Like, but nowadays, I'm just 100% like totally different than I was, because I used to like kind of see the forces of nature, and I still do, but it's hard to explain. I try not to take in the symbolism shit too much. I think the universe is a simulation. It doesn't matter. It's all about the physical reality. Like, I skateboard, okay? And if I don't jump over a gap or whatever, and somehow if I fall, that's what matters. I don't want to fall. I never want to fucking hit the ground. I need to stay away from gravity. The gravity and the matter, physics and all that particle stuff is like what matters to me. And the mysticism and the wondering and all that shit that takes up an extra moment of my day, I don't have time for it, because I'm like stuck in the now, and I have to keep living and just keep comfortable, like stay in my comfort zone of like astronaut type stuff, food, heat, water, food, like sleep, computers, techno music, you know, zero gravity, all that stuff. So, yeah, like I don't know how to say it, but I know Brendon's mentioned Spacelite, this electrolyte stuff. Like, I wouldn't want to go on an ayahuasca trip. Don't do ayahuasca without Spacelite, because otherwise you're going to have to be in the rainforest, you're going to have a crappy time. But either way, it's going to give you a reality check, but Spacelite is going to help you with reality, because it's like, reality is intense. Okay, there are just aliens right now trying to get us, bigger than us, smaller than us. For prehistoric, new age, all the aliens are like, we got to kill them all. We got to keep ourselves going, and we got to like help each other and our own species. There's women out there. I gotta say thanks. First time I ever really broadcasted out there. All the beautiful women in my life ever that have crossed my path have helped me somehow in my life to fucking get where I am, and gotta thank them, because they're as much worried about helping us as we're worried about helping and take care of them. That's our nature. And I think we just gotta stay with what we know. We for real, and don't worry too much. If nature's not going to answer the question for us, maybe we're not supposed to know, right? We're not supposed to fly off in space. We need gravity to hold us down. So
I totally agree. I totally agree. I like the way the astronaut type stuff. It's just that's what we need to be focusing on. And that's really where our issues, our problems are, and our solutions are. Is clean air, clean water, clean food, and focusing on another way of saying what you're saying is like you said, like matter matters, but you're saying it's very meditative. I mean, just being connected with reality rather than being airy-fairy up in the clouds somewhere.
But Joe, let's talk about Spacelite eventually. Before we get into that though, because I'm just sort of watching the live chat. People one of the comments is a guy saying there's much more than physical reality. I don't think you're not denying that there is, but more so you're just saying the physical reality, the density that we're in is the immediate reality where a lot of the conflicts resolve and the things that sort of the knots that need to be untied are in the physical reality sort of thing. So but I'd be kind of curious, maybe do you just have a response to that, what are
totally. I got it. I gotta go in for you. I gotta go on. All metaphysical phenomenon that has happened to me is amazing, and it tripped me out, and it's actually, even when I completely try to ignore it and block it from my life because it trips me out too much sometimes, it almost makes me paranoid because I'm wondering who is injecting this into my reality. I noticed the best, coolest phenomenon, and it can be just coincidental things with dreams or whatever, but it's through relationships. Always women are always what bring me back to believing that there's something more than just physical reality, because I have the craziest dreams or the craziest insights or just amazing experience of somehow connecting with something that more coincidental than what I would expect from a physical nature, right? It's just, so I don't know, but I try not to dwell on it. Don't dwell on it too much, because people are scared to go skateboarding. Learn to skateboard first before you start tripping into things that you can't even see or calculate or mathematically, first, plot, whatever. I don't know, just, we don't know, right? Certain things we just don't know, and other things, I've already found out things that I didn't know before, and I was pretty far ahead of the game, and I still didn't know this, and then I found out stuff, and now I'm I gave up all of my past beliefs about crystal, positive energy, all that crap. Space like a crystal, the energy in it is whatever the hacking of the matrix that turned into this code that still works is still there, and it's still positive energy, and no crystal that I ever fucking prayed to or meditated on or whatever did anything for me enough to get me further. So except for Spacelite is something that you can actually consume, and I understand is oxygen. So
yesterday, I'll just sort of set you up for a segue to actually explain what Spacelite is, because people who have no idea are probably curious at this point, and it is worth being curious about it, I'll say that. But somebody brought this up yesterday to my attention at one of our paradigm shift meetings that we had. And they were talking about how there was this experiment done with a crystal where they put an electronic pulse through it, a vibration that actually resulted in the crystal stretching, it actually expanded in some way that is what many would consider to be abnormal for the growth of a crystal sort of thing. And I think we forget how interesting crystals are, and the fact that we ourselves are walking, talking crystals. And I think going in line with what Spacelite is, Spacelite is crystals that we can actually bring into our body to increase the conductivity and just how we can operate more effectively. But yeah, Joe, can you tell us what is Spacelite? Why should people care about Spacelite, and where can they order it online?
I try not to really market my stuff, right? That's why I'm really less successful than most people expect me to be. But this is I should probably mention, it's the only thing that's helping people stop pain that is otherwise unstoppable. And it saved my life recently with toothaches. and had hangovers like constantly because I drink actually lately. Like I've been kind of drinking a lot in the last 6 months, and it's helped me. I understand why people like it for hangovers because it prevents hangovers, so that's good. It's also good for like anti-erosion of like teeth and bones, and I deal with a lot of people, right? So I kind of wonder who's going to be the next person to call me about the stuff, or who's going to next person to order it. And I've met people with NASA. I've met people with the U.S. military. I've met people with the United Kingdom military, Australia, all over the place. All types of hippies, yoga, raw foodists, tree planters.
Yeah, surfers and stuff. Tree planters. Yeah, I gave some. My buddy just left. My buddy just left for tree planting, and before he left, I gifted him with some Spacelite. I'm like, take this, like, you know, like I want you to have this to go with you. But yeah, just like, just to explain to people like what Spacelite is, like basically, I mean, I've posted videos about it, and go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/Spacelite and even check out the documentary, which features like Joe in it as well as myself, and that was like the first film that I did. Yeah, that was freestyle. Like that was awesome, man. Like
we
that was
totally
so
like
sick.
just made that
mobbed it
together.
Man. Yeah, I'll say. Yeah. But Spacelite in itself, it's like a white crystal powder that you dilute in water, and you just need a pinch of it in water, and then it dilutes, and then so you can like bring it into your body. And one of the easiest ways that I can explain it to people is like think of it like Gatorade, but like without all the sugar crap, and actually like better than Gatorade because it does more than what Gatorade does. But among other things, like it can also be used as like an electrolyte formula for like sports and athletics. So for me myself, like I can testify to this, and I have buddies who use it, and Joe knows lots of people who use it who can testify to this. But like our body, because of the crappy food that we ingest, and this goes full circle with like the Monsanto stuff that we were talking about at the beginning, because of our diet, like our pH levels like really out of balance, and we have often acidic buildup in our joints, which prevent like muscle pain and joint aches, and meaning that if you were to like play soccer, you'd be like done after 15 minutes sort of thing. But through Spacelite, it helps like balance out your pH levels and gets like the potassium as part of your diet back into your system, and actually like lets you achieve the things that we as humans are by nature like within our grasp. Like it's totally something that we should be able to do. We should be able to like run long distance like without our joints like hurting and stuff like that. And like for those of us, like Spacelite is something that goes like hand in hand with a conscious lifestyle is basically the way I put it. So you can like just depend on it to like make you healthy, but if you're already like active and you're already like eating healthy and consciously to begin with, and you're not like drinking pop and eating a bunch of like crappy food and stuff like that, then Spacelite's gonna like really help you like step into what you're capable of, and you'll probably be surprised, and it actually becomes really exciting because it makes like working out like fun rather than just being like, oh, this is painful. It's more like be like, wow, I want to see how much further I can go, like, and you surprise yourself, like I said. So that's kind of spacelite.net and paradigmshiftcentral.com/ and it's I should say it's Spacelite Lite. I forgot that we're on the radio, so yeah,
it's actually make it simple. You know what, I try to make it as simple as possible for people, because at 3 a.m. when I'm gonna drink some water after a party and I'm doing dancing, I don't want to think about formulas, math, and chemistry. I just want to like think about I'm putting some electrolytes in my water. Maybe if like I don't want to think about what I'm doing. I just want to put electrolytes in my water, Spacelite. I don't want to think about potassium or any complicated stuff like oxygen or whatever. I don't, and I'm the science guy. I don't even want to think about it. I don't expect anyone else to expect to think about it or whatever. Like just who cares? It's Lite, simple as possible. Like don't worry about the proper spelling of electrolyte. Whatever it's with Y, but I don't care. It's all one word, and it's like electrolyte for space travelers, basically. And that's how I look at it. I like to watch NASA TV. I like to listen to psychedelic trance, techno music. I'm a computer kind of guy. I figure we're like, we deserve this. I know we deserve it. So.
Yeah, and you like,
Brendon?
yeah, man, like, and it's impressive because like I often sort of reiterate to people, they're like, oh, well, if it's like so good, then why isn't it on like a shelf somewhere? Like this stuff is actually like so healthy for you that like you won't find it on a shelf because it's actually like really healthy for you. So it's kind of something that is it's like stealth biotechnology is one term that Joe's used that I actually think is an appropriate way of describing it. It is. It's underground, man. Like I'm really fortunate.
Health, and if you want the natural health that the government or whatever is not going to give it to them, we got extra going to give it to you.
X
gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you.
Yeah. Like, Joe, is there anything else that, I mean, I just want to open it up to Rain and Jason here, but is there anything else that you can tell us about Spacelite? I mean, I know you didn't like answer enough about it that people are still gonna have questions about it, and people are still gonna like claim, and
honestly,
people.
It's like the Matrix, man. It's the Matrix. No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
You have to experience it for yourself.
It's I'm not offering anything more than the truth.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about like how you found it, like how you created it? Like, can you talk about that sort of thing? Because like you were the one who like brought it into this reality. Like, it wasn't like made by some like corporation. Like, they didn't figure it out. You figured it out. Like, that's the part that amazes me.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It amazes me too, actually. I was a Matrix hacker. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term hacker. It's like a technology guru that is able to perform results from computer configurations that are abnormal and achieve things that are not typical from an end user. And I was able to do crazy amounts of research because I questioned religion from day one when I was like 4 years old. So I didn't believe in God. I thought, what the fuck is everything made of? And I asked, what the hell is glass made of? Wood, rocks, tell me, water, everything. And they said, talk to your aunt, she's a chemist. So she gave me a periodic table of all the elements of the universe. And I studied this from 5 years old. I was obsessed with everything being formulas. I knew that water is H2O. H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, which is a poison. H2O is water. We need water to survive. I was intrigued by the fact that one extra oxygen, which we breathe, is the difference between water and a poison. And it just tripped me out from my elementary years. And there was no computer, there was no real internet. I was reading books on formulas. I knew how to read in elementary school. Windows 95 came out when I was in grade 4. So before that, I was studying text. I wasn't allowed on Windows 95. I almost got banned from the internet for all of school because I hacked in through the vice principal thing in elementary.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Long story short, it's a long story. Honestly, it's a whole slew of dominoes. But I got kicked out of my house when I was 18, 19. I was starving. I was hungry. I was poor. I wanted to stay as healthy as possible for as cheap as possible. And I looked up all the nutrients that we need a day. So I checked out the nutritional daily value of what you see on the side of labels with a percentage. That actually percentage thing is from a list of nutrients that we need every day. I studied the nutrients. I had a lot of scientific background knowledge to dive into research, just tons of stuff. Actually, it's a really in-depth story. I even got caught carrying a pocket knife, and I was put in jail. And then I didn't go to my court date on time. I was an hour late, so they put me in jail for a weekend. And they shipped me out 3 hours away, 300 kilometers, and in jail. And I was in jail, and I read this book about how to speed read. So I read this book, and it taught me that when you look back and forth, your eyes jump. But if you follow your finger back and forth, your eyes go smooth. So that's the trick to speed reading, is you use your finger to keep your eyes moving really smoothly and just look at everything. Don't think about it, just look at it, and your brain will remember. I did this. I learned to speed read. I hacked in the library computers to get extra time. I hacked in another hack to get printing access. I printed stacks of research. I was homeless. I fucking lived in my friend's basement, who I'm with tonight, who I'm going to get him to freestyle on the radio, guys, for you guys.
Sweet.
There's enough time.
Yeah.
And I tested different chemicals. I had scientific knowledge to test formulas and chemicals, and some of them are dangerous. Some of them, if you get a little bit on your hand and get it wet, it'll melt the scar into your hand, and it'll keep burning for years, and it'll never heal the scar. And I was drinking chemicals that are very close to this. And Spacelite is pretty much the closest thing that is to that, which will not harm you. It's safe. It's just that if you drink too much, you'll get really thirsty, and you have to balance it with fresh water. So I know what I did was dangerous. It was epic. I took a chance. I didn't do what my parents told me to do, which was work at a sawmill or whatever, a warehouse. I studied. And I was also all across North America with this crappy skateboard. Now Brendon has a better skateboard than I had when I started out.
Yeah,
and
thanks, man.
his skateboard was crap. Yeah, he needs to get a new one.
Maybe someday, dude. I'll use it till like it falls apart, and it's still working for me, man. People I get lots of compliments on it, man. Like people like the fact that that thing's got a story behind it. I'm like, yeah, it definitely does. It's gotten me places.
I was old when I got it. I got that thing when I was old, man.
Man, skateboards put you in the future. Like you taught me that lesson, man. They do.
I didn't see that whole documentary. Did you guys actually skate all across Canada from like London to Vancouver or something?
Actually,
no.
I have a video. I haven't released it yet.
But yeah, Joe,
it's from Roswell, New Mexico to Canada.
I've seen that. Dude, you had that on YouTube at one point. It's like an hour-long video of just you in the desert skateboarding and eating stuff and going all over. And then back when you had dreads and stuff, that was funny. Yeah, or cornrows and stuff. Yeah, but man, yeah, okay, Joe, do you have more to say? I was gonna say maybe Rain or Jason have a question about Spacelite. Honestly, space is just super interesting for me, and I want to give it as much time as I'm comfortable giving it, which is enough as I need. And one thing I was gonna say, people are asking they're oh, the Spacelite stuff sounds really interesting. How much is it? How affordable is it? I can say from my own experience that $20 worth of Spacelite, which is a small canister. Okay, Joe's AFK, but a small canister of Spacelite will last me more than a month. And that's such a good investment. And again, it helps a lot. It helps with athletic performance, and it just helps with overall health. When we think that why we get some of us get sick easier than others, and that may be because our pH levels are out of balance. And again, that's because of the diet that we're ingesting is really not in our best interest. So Spacelite plus good food to begin with can really bring you up to a next level of potential within what we're capable of. But goes alongside with hard work and dedication and everything. And again, check out the documentary, the full length documentary that me and Joe put together back in 2011, and that's all at paradigmshiftcentral.com/Spacelite, and it's SPACELITE, and Facebook.com/Spacelite as well for anybody else interested. But yeah, I don't know, Rain or Jason, do you guys got a question? I could probably answer it in some degree if you're still not sure about what the hell this stuff is.
I'm pretty familiar with electrolytic complexes, and I use a lot of them. I do a lot of athletic training and stuff, and coconut water is my favorite, but I have tried other complexes of them, and I noticed that they help a lot. I'd definitely be interested in trying it.
Yeah.
Hey, I just remembered something.
Go ahead, Joe.
I don't know if I'm still in the air, but
you are.
Yeah, part of my story here is because I was kind of homeless or whatever, so I didn't have enough food, and I thought I was I want to be one with nature, right? So I was eating tons of fruit from trees, kind of outdoors where they have a lot of orchards. So I was eating a lot of cherries, apricots, plums, peaches, nectarines, pears, apples, all these fruits from outdoors in the Okanagan. And I thought that, I was calculating the mineral content and everything, and I had been studying quite a while, actually. And so it hit me as a surprised me, that when I realized the sugar content in the fruit isn't really acknowledged on the internet and the research and everything, and when they talk about alkaline diets and all this crap on the internet, it's actually not true, because the stuff they list, they don't understand that the sugar in the food creates acid. Carbon makes sugar. Carbon acids they make acid. So they make your muscles burn. They eat your teeth away. Teeth are the hardest part of living, because teeth are always getting attacked or whatever, right? It's when you leave a boat in the water, you're gonna get barnacles and all that crap growing on the side of your boat, and you gotta scrub your boat all the time. Your teeth are like that, and if you get holes in your teeth, it's like getting holes in your boat. And it's bad news. And my teeth were hurting, and I didn't have Spacelite. I had no way of counteracting the acid that was being produced by the sugar that I was eating on a mass scale from the fruit, because you think fruit is natural, plants, Now I think of plants almost as a parasite, because they taste good because they want to trick you into eating them so that you're going to spread the seed further. But they don't really care about fixing your teeth or anything like that. They're just trying to they're just trying to care about themselves. The plants are like parasites. They're just life forms. Just because they're natural doesn't mean you have to trust them. I actually like eating animals better than a vegetarian diet, because an animal has already processed the plant and excluded all the bad stuff. And blood is actually red because chlorophyll and blood are so similar. Chlorophyll has magnesium in the center. Blood has iron. Other than that, they're identical. The blood cells are identical. And iron is red, like rust. Magnesium attracts carbon, and it's green. And other than that, like, you get all these people saying eat a vegetarian diet, but they don't understand the sugar, and they're getting too much carbs, and they're getting yeast and all those bacteria and acids, because it's hard to get the minerals nowadays. You can't get the minerals because the tap water is processed, the air is acids, acid rain, acid pollution, acid everything. And the body's producing acid naturally from natural metabolism. So, long story short, I don't know what the heck this story is about, but my teeth, my teeth are me. And I want to suggest everybody use hydrogen peroxide to brush your teeth. Don't drink it, but just brush your teeth with it. It helps kill everything with extra oxygen. And drink Spacelite after, because it cancels out the acids. And potassium is the only anti-acid that goes inside cells. You can't get that anywhere.
You said, yeah?
Bananas actually have radioactive potassium.
Say that again.
Would you just put that on your toothbrush and just pour a little bit on there, or what?
The peroxide.
If you use hydrogen peroxide to brush your teeth, how do you do that?
Yeah, just put a little bit in your mouth. Your mouth will foam up like a rabies dog.
Is it gonna sting or anything?
Actually, yeah, okay. The first few times you'll feel electric, and then after a while you'll become less sensitive. Your gums will become stronger. Any infected areas become white around your gums, or any weaker areas, until it all actually becomes resistant to the oxygen, because your body likes oxygen. So yeah, good times.
Yeah, Rain, I'm sure. I'd be curious because like I can tell that you're listening. Because Rain, you're rocking the vegan diet, and I'm curious what you sort of not to turn this into a debate or anything, but just getting multiple angles here.
Yeah, I used to eat plants. I used to eat fruit until it almost killed me. I used to just eat plants only, because I eat hemp seeds too, but it's really about the molecules we're eating, like sugars or carbon. And if you're not getting the potassium to balance the charge, the electric charge and the oxygen that it carries, it's just dangerous, right? If anybody has any problems, feel free to contact any of us. We'll network it up, because I was on the brink of falling through, and I made it. But I want everybody to make it. And if anybody's having any troubles out there, get in touch, because we got free download advice. We'll hook you up, okay? Don't worry.
Yeah, and Facebook.com/604Joe. So the number 604 is his area code for Vancouver, and Joe, G-O-E. So check that out, and add him on Facebook. But yeah, okay, Rain, I just want to open up to you, but just I just feel that for people who still just this conversation just might be kind of really new to them, because Spacelite is just really different and outside the box. But Spacelite, Spacelite is potassium, but it's more than potassium. And I'm just having a friend ask me on the side. They're just asking so what's in it? How do you answer that, Joe? When people ask you what's in Spacelite? What is Spacelite?
Yeah, it's basically a supernova. It's particles of a supernova that exploded billions of years ago, and was used by trees in a prehistoric forest that eventually turned to stone, and then humans mined the rock and grew crystals out of it in a aerospace condition, a vacuum of space type, and they grew crystals out of it. And these are natural, they occur in nature, but they're very rare. And before humans altered Earth, they were more common. These crystals were more common. They're actually in most of our water. There's actually controversy about what is the formula for water. Is water really H2O, or is water H2O plus other minerals and molecules like ozone is a molecule, O3, and potassium is an ion, a mineral, like an element ion. Oxygen, it comes in different forms. Some oxygen is so dangerous that you can't even touch it; it'll burn you. So that's why I have to make sure that Spacelite is always the same. I have to make sure that there's no knockoffs, there's no counterfeits. I am the one that found out for sure the right formula because I was so picky about being natural. And now I'm not going to let anybody else mess it up or hurt anybody by, there's experiments that could go wrong.
Yeah, like you said, it's really close to that line.
Patenting it just to make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen. You know, I mean, I know you're not trying to be big or corporate or anything, but if you want to make sure that no one's trying to rip it off or anything, I mean, isn't a patent the one thing you could do that could give you some legal leverage for that to make sure it doesn't happen?
Well, yeah, you heard about here in China, there's baby formula, baby milk. They're making baby milk melanin in China. Yeah, they put that chemical in there to artificially report protein when they tested it, and it was a fake thing, right? I can't have knockoffs. I can't have the wrong shit going out there because I drank it, and I'm picky. So I'm the first one to check it because I'm the first one to drink it, and I'm making it available to other people. And it took me a long time to figure this out. It took me a lot of chances to take it, figure it out,
Yeah, because it's kind of like a secret complex or compound or something to it. Because I don't fully understand it. Joe knows what he's talking about, and
honestly, though, all it is potassium, oxygen, and then there's hydrogen because hydrogen is part of water. But there's water in the crystal, but it's not just one potassium or one oxygen. It's a certain number of each, and that's the formula. And that's the tricky part because if you get one number wrong, or you get the wrong formula of anything, the wrong element, things can go bad. So I'm not talking about formulas because I even talked to chemists, and I expected them to be able to keep up and know what I'm talking about, and they messed up the formula. And then also, I've had another supplier who's government FDA certified to supply this kind of stuff. They messed up and I'm the one that caught it. I caught the mistake before anything messed up happened because I looked at everything, and so nobody knows chemistry enough to even understand what the heck I'm talking about. I talk about oxygen, and people want to know more. Well, look up oxygen. There's tons of stuff about oxygen. Look up potassium. There's tons of stuff about potassium. That's the trick. And you can look up alkaline stuff. Try not to believe everything you read on the net because lemons are acidic. There's a lot of controversy out there. Just trust me. Spacelite is modern. We've got the new age thing going on here.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up, because I saw Rain talking about it in the chat and stuff, because, people are just asking, potassium's important for our diet, so if we didn't have Spacelite, where would we be getting it? And a lot of people would think, bananas and oranges, but one of the things that you told me, Joe, and I'll just sort of, reiterate this and then just, correct me or add on to it, but one of the things you told me is that, people think that, eating, 10 bananas a day is going to get you a lot of potassium. Just eating bananas in general is really good for you for potassium. Well, actually, based on what you said, is that the natural acidic acid the natural acid within the banana itself cancels itself out once it ingests into your body, because the acids inside the banana are there to help the banana grow itself. Or crap, I think I sort of screwed it up. But yeah, do you want to explain why potassium?
Carbon grabs oxygen. Okay, carbon loves oxygen. It grabs it. It's a reaction. Carbon in sugar is going to suck up all your oxygen. Now, think about H2O. It's a ratio between hydrogen and oxygen. If you're sucking up all the oxygen, you're going to have a higher ratio of hydrogen. Hydrogen is the plus charge. Hydrogen is the acid, which means if you lose the oxygen, you're going to have an increase in acid. So carbon is what makes acids, basically, carbonic acid. If you don't stop the fermentation of sugar in a low oxygen environment, then sugar will become alcohol, and then it'll become vinegar. And vinegar is a strong acid. So, I know that when you make wine, you need to put a little bit of potassium into the wine to stop the reaction, or else the wine will turn into vinegar. It'll keep fermenting the sugar in low oxygen. So it's the same thing that happens in the body. And if anybody has cancer, like, please contact Brendon or myself or one of my reps, my friends, because we've got something that's been helping people get their lives back stable on track for over 5 years now. And it's pretty amazing. And we're looking to upgrade research. Like, I'm finding out new things all the time. You know, people are being able to leave their houses and walk around for the first time in a long time because of Spacelite, because it's helped their different degenerative diseases. And they all source from the same similar things. It might attack different parts of the body, but it's all from the same basic condition of low oxygen to certain cells, because all healthy cells need oxygen. So it's pretty simple, really, once you look at it, and that's why I'm really surprised that, like, nobody else has gotten on this bandwagon, like mainstream doctors or whatever. And especially because I've told a lot of people about it, doctors around the world, and none of them have really gotten back to me. So I'm glad I've chosen to think outside of the box, and I've done some rainforest tea lately, like some ayahuasca. That feels pretty good. I wouldn't suggest doing ayahuasca without doing Spacelite, because being human is gross enough. That's what ayahuasca pretty much teaches you, is that we're human, and it's gross. And Spacelite makes you feel less gross.
Rain or Jason, do you guys got comments, questions, thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's exactly fair to be demonizing food as much as you are and calling them parasitic and such. Because, I mean, we evolved for millions of years off of a very symbiotic, basically the opposite of parasitic relationship with fruit. And our body runs exclusively off of sugar, like our brains off of glucose and our muscles off of glycogen. It's basically just sugar. And even though the acid in fruit, they may be acidic when you're eating it, it's actually very alkaline forming due to the minerals that are present in the fruit, which are really the same minerals that are in the Spacelite.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? That's what actually I used to think that the minerals were there, but the acids in the fruit are going to react with the teeth first when you're chewing it.
Right.
And the sugar's kind of like syrup. It's like sticky, and it goes everywhere in the body. But I'm not saying don't eat. I'm just saying eat a normal diet and get Spacelite in your diet. It's helped me a lot, and it's helped a lot of people. And it's the minerals that you're not going to get from food. Like, all soil is depleted nowadays.
Yeah, like where are people supposed to get potassium these days? Like, you know.
I believe in that. This guy, he's on the ball. Like, he's good shit. He's right.
Rain, go ahead, Rain.
I agree. I'm sure Spacelite is great, and I agree that our soils are demineralized. But at the same time, the most mineralized foods we can be eating right now are fruits and vegetables. And I mean, for me, I've been raw vegan for about 5 years now, and my teeth went to shit for a while, and it wasn't because of what I was eating, but it was because of the high fat diet that I was eating. And also I shifted to a high fruit diet and noticed that the holes in my teeth that were already present were being exacerbated because I was in this extremely apathetic state of mind where I didn't brush my teeth at all. But once I started brushing my teeth, the high fruit diet, the high mineralized diet actually healed my teeth. Like, to the point of, like, to the extent of, like, orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements, like ormus has been shown to heal teeth, which fruit and vegetables are, like, the highest in these elements and these minerals.
Yeah, that's where I want to catch you, man. Is when generally, like, just completely generally, when people talk about foods, they mention Now, I'm going to mention two things, okay? Two separate food categories, but it sounds like one category. They say fruits and vegetables. Now, those two are completely different, but people put them in the same category, and they actually put fruits before vegetables. But fruits are acidic, whereas vegetables are typically more mineral-based and alkaline, because they grow, like, in the dry, rocky ground. They're less sugary. Vegetables are where you get the minerals, not the fruits. And fruits being put into the same category as vegetables because they're both plants is the hiccup in my Spacelite Life Sciences Corp consulting type thing, whatever you want to, I don't know, like, just the catch that I noticed here. Because, like, when I was looking for some kind of alkaline plant to put on my teeth because my teeth are hurting so much, I couldn't even chew lettuce. I was looking at dandelion stems. The stem of a dandelion actually is pretty juicy, and it's like, it's not 100%, like, it's not Spacelite, but I mean, it's more alkaline than any other fruit that you're going to find. So if you need something to repair your teeth after they're so rough, so yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's like fruits and vegetables, like, they're completely separate.
I disagree, man. I mean, the mineral content in fruit is extremely high, and just because it has sugar in it does not discount that by any means. And
not high. It's not actually not high.
What? No, they are. They are
Yeah.
very high compared to like any other food on the market. Compared to grains, compared to meat, compared to cheese, they're extremely high in vitamins, minerals, and monoatomic elements. Like
veggies, man, not fruit, veggies.
No, they all are. They really, they all are.
I wish. You know what, man? I wish. I love fruits. I'm like the white guy with cornrow braids eating watermelon and chicken down the street. Okay, I was seriously that guy.
If what you're saying was true, then my teeth would not have been able to heal on a fruit-based diet. And like people,
lucky, man. You're lucky. You know what? Some of us survive, and some of us don't. Like,
but I mean, how could I be lucky if what you're saying is true? Because you're saying that it's impossible. You're saying that they don't have the minerals. That it's going to create an acidic environment.
Maybe like, minerals from your bones and other parts of your body have enough minerals to move around. That's what happened for me. I was not lucky.
You're implying that I have osteoporosis now, which is ridiculous.
No, it's called calcium resorption. It's like when the bones lose calcium.
It creates osteoporosis. That's what I'm saying. Like, if this was true, there wouldn't be fruitarians out there that are running 135 miles a day.
Hey, you know what? Let's see Bring it on.
All right.
I'm down.
All right, I'll post it in the live chat. I'll post it in the live chat right now. His name is Michael Arnstein, and he runs.
You know what, man? I don't trust you guys because you know why? I found something that helped people with cancer, and they didn't. And bottom line, line it up, okay? Because I'm tired of the rumors. I'm down to the facts. If it's science, it can be reproduced any day of the week, and I'm ready for this. I got minerals that nobody else has. Anyone can say whatever they want. Doesn't make it true. And I'm a skeptic. That's why I didn't believe religion. That's why I found the stuff, because I disproved everything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no more science present than the thousands of years of fossil records that we have that tell us that we evolved on fruit for millions of years. I mean, like, if you're looking for science, then there it is. We're literally like the result of a symbiotic relationship with fruit.
But 100 years ago, the oxygen in the air was different. We didn't have acid rain.
Sure, but I mean that didn't change what fruit is. I mean, it's still this perfect little biodegradable package of sugar which our brains grow off of and our muscles run off of.
Well, okay, when you said the brain eats sugar, which you're right, but the brain only needs sugar that the liver makes. It doesn't actually need extra sugar. Like, the brain can make sugar out of fat and protein.
Hey, sorry. Could you repeat that last part? Sorry, my friend was talking.
Sorry, man. Yeah, so the brain eats the sugar that's made by the liver. It doesn't need to eat sugar that we eat.
Well,
it's a type of sugar.
but that sugar has to be converted from fat or other types of things, which is much more inefficient to be converting from. I mean, fructose converts into glucose thousands of times easier than fat or other types of fat or protein.
The thing is that we can only have so much sugar until it poisons us. That's why we have insulin, because insulin prevents sugar from becoming too high. If your sugar becomes too high, then it eats up all the oxygen, because it's carbon and oxygen, right? So that's why we have insulin, and insulin turns the sugar into fat if there's extra.
If there's extra, but eating a high carbohydrate diet rarely, I mean, the amount of calories we burn, it's essentially impossible to be storing that much fat from sugar.
No, that's why everyone's fat. Look at Texas. That's why everyone's fat, because they eat carbs.
No, you're confusing fruit sugar that has fiber and minerals with refined sugar, and those cannot be confused, because refined sugar...
No, they're the same, man. There's no minerals. Trust me, there's no minerals.
They're so far... Are you... Yeah, there's no minerals in sugar.
Like, barely. Okay. There's literally nothing that's going to do anything. It's nothing. It's jack shit.
Alright, so I agree that sugar, straight up sugar, refined sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, any of that crap is terrible, and it will cause osteoporosis, and it will cause problems. But that is because it doesn't contain the fiber, which is a time release, and it doesn't contain the minerals and the vitamins and the monoatomic elements and everything that we haven't even discovered yet that is present in fruit. I mean, so all these studies that you're talking about is done on refined sugar. It's not done on fruit.
Actually, no. I was eating fruit right off the tree, and I almost died because I ate so much fruit, and I thought I was getting the minerals because I believed what you believe. And for the most part, you're right. Refined sugar is worse, but I'm just saying, don't underestimate the fucking danger of sugar, and don't forget about your vegetables, because vegetables come first. They have way more minerals. There's really no minerals that's going to help you in fruit. It's all carbon, sucrose, all that shit, right? If you want minerals, get Spacelite. I spent hundreds of dollars on gasoline for my car, okay? I spent tons of money on tons of shit. Just forget about wasting time and all that shit. Spacelite ain't that expensive. Brendon sells it. It's not even me that's making the money. I'm not even trying to make money. Brendon's got a little bit. There's not that much out there. But, I mean, if it's an emergency, don't go drinking lemon juice because you read it off some fucking website on the internet because some hippie told it, or some hippie believed it or whatever. Because I'm telling you, lemons are acidic. It's citric acid that's going to react with your teeth, your bones, everything. It's going to move. Oh, and the pH test strips, if you're peeing on test strips and if you're licking them and all that, don't think that the result on the test strip is the pH of your body, because acids break down protein and create ammonia, which is alkaline. So even if you're peeing on the strip and it says it's alkaline or whatever, or licking it says alkaline, and people think that they're too alkaline. Okay, I'm an expert. I've dealt with this. The acid is causing a breakdown of protein, which is making an alkaline reading. There's a lot of false stuff. There's really confusing stuff. That's what I mean about Spacelite. I don't really like to talk about formulas because it's so confusing. All we need to know is that there's an answer. We don't have to be smart. We don't even have to think about it. We don't have to know how it works. We got it. We got it figured out, and we're going to find more shit. And Unstoppable the Train movie is my favorite movie. It's my favorite ever.
Yeah. Okay, just kind of I just wanted to back this up, because that was something that I'm sure people have heard about, the idea that people, you can look up videos on the internet of how it talks about how putting lemons in your water alkalines your water and stuff like that, and a lot of people are yeah, that's awesome, but Joe, because you just said it, but can you just explain more about how you debunk that, or why, based from your perception, that doesn't really fit the
there's not enough minerals. The minerals, first of all, the numbers aren't great enough.
Okay, Joe just dropped, but he may call back in. But Rain, have you probably heard right? The idea that a lemon is alkaline when drank through water and stuff.
Well, it's extremely acidic of course, just what it naturally, but it can produce an alkaline environment in our bodies. And that's the thing, like, we're confusing acidity, like, with the actual minerals present within the fruit that will create a different environment within us, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know about his experience about his teeth rotting out. I know that my teeth were having issues when I began fruitarianism because I was a massive pothead and I was extremely apathetic and I didn't care about even brushing my teeth at night. So yes, the sugars fed the bacteria within my mouth, and the bacteria within my mouth pooped, and the acidic poop rotted my teeth. But that's not to be blaming the fruit. Is to be blaming the fact that I wasn't eating enough celery or wasn't brushing my teeth, so I wasn't getting that. So I wasn't cleaning away all the acidic poop. Basically, bacteria poop. Yeah. Fruit doesn't rot teeth. Bacteria poop rots teeth.
So, Jason, what are your thoughts on
that's actually a fun fact. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Because it's interesting for me to sort of like listen to like someone such as Joe and someone such as Rain like talk about some of the stuff. Because I didn't take chemistry and biology in high school or anything like that. And not to say that like I don't know anything, but I'm not super versed in a lot of the language. But a lot of like I am like trying my best to like make sense of what stuff like what you guys are like talking about and everything. But it's interesting, like just some of the stuff that Joe says, because like a lot of people would just be like, that's like too radical. It just sounds like too completely different from what I'm used to, and I could sense like Rain, you're sort of responding to some of that with like not like it's just like what, like how can you possibly say that sort of thing, like I don't know, just you know what I mean?
Yeah, it created a very visceral response within me. It's like no. It's like basically what my dharma, if you will, is to encourage people to eat more fruits and vegetables and regain the relationship with nature that we evolved as a result of for millions of years. And I think fruit plays an absolutely vital part in that. And yes, vegetables do too. And yes, dandelion greens do too. But to demonize fruit, it just makes me go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if like demonize was quite what he was doing, but because what he's saying is like in the best interest of other people, and not to say that like he's like completely right or you're completely right, because I don't know, like I'm not like refereeing this, like I'm just trying to piece it all together in the same way that we're all just trying to make sense of this, like rather than just listening to what the mainstream tells us. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, he wasn't saying not to eat fruit. He was saying like. You'll basically you'll process it more effectively with Spacelite, and that the like immense power of. He's basically saying that fruit is like put on such a high pedestal that he's basically just saying is unrealistic.
Yeah. Because Rain, like based on like your understanding.
That's what I gathered from this. Because it's like honestly, like both of you guys have been throwing out stuff that I really don't know, and I think is above the heads of most people who haven't like really looked in depth into this stuff. And it's like honestly, I've been leaning more toward going vegetarian or vegan at some point, but it's like I really don't know a whole lot about it. And both of you guys pulled up a lot of like in-depth knowledge where you know all this stuff about like how stuff is broken down and the electrical charges.
Yeah, the carbons.
Like I have no idea how any of that applies to digestion and nutrition, really. And I don't think most Americans or Canadians do, or most people will.
Yeah, like I think at the end of the day, like it does come down to like moderation, and as long as you're like not just like eating like candy bars and like drinking pop and stuff like that. Just be mindful and be in moderation. Like Rain, like what would happen if someone were to like eat a diet like just of something like really high, like a fruit, like mangoes or something? What would happen if someone just ate mangoes? Like how long would it take for them to like start, like wouldn't that like eventually do harm to them if someone were to literally just eat mangoes?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, variety, like you said, moderation is the key, and that doesn't mean a little bit of cocaine and a little bit of Snickers bars and a little bit of, I mean, moderation and variety is what's up. Like I absolutely love mangoes, and I've gone days and days with just eating mangoes, but the mangoes don't possess everything we need. We need greens, we need bananas, we need the full variety, the full spectrum, which, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to be like saying that it's not possible, because there are people that have gone on so-called Banana Island or Mango Island or Apple Island, or Grape Island as they call them, is like just eating mono fruit, just one type of fruit, and they've not only lost massive amounts of weight and gained massive amounts of energy and skin clarity and mental clarity, but they've healed conditions within their body that usually only fasting can heal. And it's really because fruit is extremely easy to digest, and so it gives your body more energy to heal other things. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there are issues that may sort of be exacerbated by a lot of sugar, and in those cases, I would definitely recommend green juices, lots more vegetables, lower sugar, and less physical activity, because the vegetables do take a bit more of our energy to digest, so less energy is going to be directed towards healing modality, or the body healing itself, and plus vegetables are lower in sugar, so therefore we're going to have less energy. So yes, there are some cases where eating one type of fruit might not be the best thing, but that being said, many people have had absolutely amazing, mind-blowing results from going on so-called mono fruit island for even 30 days at one time.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but it's not like something you stay on like for life.
No, yeah, that'd be trippy. So we do have Joe, like he's calling back in and he's in the queue, so I'm gonna bring him on. And I'd like to sort of like shift the conversation a bit. There's a few things that I would be interested in hearing, like some of what Joe has to say about. I think Joe can hear me right now, but he had mentioned like MK Ultra. Like I don't know how much we want to get into that, but I mean, because we've never really talked too much about it on the show. But also like a guy named John Hutchinson who did some like really interesting experience that I know like Joe actually like met when he was younger, and I think Joe might have like because like there was like a tip that he gave me about like meditation way back in the day that he could probably like reiterate. So we'll bring Joe back on and then we'll just see where it goes. And there's 16 minutes left in the show, and for those of you who listen, you know that we normally do a group meditation. I'll just sort of put it out there in live chat. Press 1 if you would like a group meditation, or press 2 if you would be more interested in just having more conversation within the last 15 minutes and just, do the meditation like afterwards sort of thing. So just press 1 if you're for meditation, press 2 if you would rather skip meditation. And I'm going to bring Joe on right now. So here we go.
No answer, man.
Hey, yo, welcome back, Joe.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Cool. Joe, did you hear us could you hear us when you were in the queue for that last minute there?
Yeah, I heard you guys both.
Yeah. Joe, what I was remember that like one time when we were like talking about like meditation, and you were talking about the idea of sort of like visualizing like a tunnel and then like creating like sort of like an overlap with your eyes and visualizing the white.
Brendon, are you trying to expose my Illuminati secret all of a sudden here without any fucking ramp up?
Well, man, I'm ramping it up like right now. Like I want you to expose like your Illuminati secret live on air.
Okay, guys, listen. Okay, let's start with John Hutchison. Okay, he's a good old friend of mine. Okay, now I have a key to life extension here that a lot of my closest friends have not been able to try for years, and I am disappointed. I'm really totally upset. I expected more from my hippie friends. I see my hip-hop gangsters putting in more effort and energy than anybody, and I'm totally shocked and surprised because I thought my raw foodists and organic new age, all those people would be like on the forefront. They're not. Whatever. Guess what? Gangsterism is my religion. now, because I know that when my fucking professional friends aren't there, or my family's not there, my gangster friends are there. We got each other's back. We got to, and you know what? I think it's great. I think we have to embrace it. I think we should be helping each other, pull on each other's networks, and going down each other's avenues of contacts or whatever to like help this grassroots movement, because there's countries at war right now that weren't at war 2 years ago. When me and Brendon made this movie, they weren't at war. Now they're at war. There's thousands of people dying. They can do all this shit. They're coordinating all this stuff in third world countries. We should be able to at least fucking share something that's helping people for free, right? Like, I give this shit away for free to people in cancer all the time. I don't expect people to spend a lot of money, but I expect, like, people who have money to spend some money, like the millionaires, people that have $1,000 or whatever. It's not hard. I spend hundreds of dollars on gas all the time like I used to. I used to drive a muscle car. I'm saying, by the words of my old friend Perry Scott, who died of cancer, who helped me test this shit out, he said, come hang out, don't be cheap. Come hang out, whatever, right? Don't be cheap. He's dying. Who gives a fuck if you're going to spend $50 on someone you don't know? Who cares? Just do it.
Still on radio?
Yeah, I'm still on radio. You want to hear my buddy freestyle?
Yeah. Throw him on. Okay, Joe, we still haven't talked about John Hutchinson and stuff, so you have to tell us about that and the Illuminati secret. I don't know if you heard me.
John Hutchinson, he's a good friend of mine. Kid, this is what I was ramping up to. This is why I mentioned all that shit.
Go for it, man.
He gave me his address twice because he moved once, and I still didn't have extra fucking money to send it to him for free, Spacelite for free, even though I want to give him life extension. And not enough people are ordering this shit, and I'm not able to give it to enough people. I want to give it to everybody. I want to lower the price as more people order it, but less people are ordering it. And John Hutchinson is a guy that had his whole lab confiscated by NASA, while he had his lab in the back of this building where my dad's restaurant was when I was a kid. And I have VHS video with me and him as I was a kid, and it shows his lab experiments making anti-gravity a reality with heavy-duty metal objects like being lifted up, and plastic objects like anti-gravity in general, not just magnetic type stuff. But I can't even give this stuff to him because I want to work with him. I want to sponsor his stuff. I've studied a lot of science and tech. I'm on the forefront of making flying cars here, guys, but I try to make Spacelite out there. Flying cars are next. You know, like, you guys got to get the first thing before you get the second thing. Come on, help me out here. I'm trying to make this happen. And I'm not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of flying. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm wanting flying cars here. I need to give this shit to John Hutchinson. I don't have enough money scratched to do that, right? Chicken Skrilla. I need to get it out there. John Hutchinson is real. He's real, okay? I have also met Alfred Bielek.
Oh, man, that's like a whole show in itself.
He verifies John Hutchinson's story to be true, and John Hutchinson verifies Al Bielek's story to be true. And Al Bielek talks about Einstein and this other guy named von Neumann, who invented quantum computing stuff, which is what computers are based on now. There's a whole history of people, and we can all be part of this history, but we got to work together. And that's what I talk about this gangsterism and gang network shit with, because if we're not helping each other, then what the heck are we doing? We're either supporting a corporation that's just supplying us some kind of entertainment. We're wasting our money on some kind of drug from the Mexican cartels or whatever. I don't know what the heck's going on, but like, I know I can work hard enough to buy enough Spacelite to give it away to people for free because it's so awesome, and other people want me to send it to them for free, and they can't even buy it for themselves for free or whatever. They can't buy it themselves, and like, I'm giving it to other people for free. Like, what the heck? Like, we all got to pull our own weight here, and I want to see more effort. I want to see everyone step it up. I want to see Brendon become a real sergeant and not just a phony drill sergeant. Like, you know, he's doing good, but he's scared to come back to the West Coast because he's scared I'm going to whip his ass into shape.
Yeah, we'll run up and down Wreck Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, Joe, we got like 10 minutes left, so I just want to like concisely shift some people's paradigms here. Like, kind of, do you want to talk about like just like some crazy shit that John Hutchinson did, or do you want to talk about like your Illuminati like meditation secret?
Don't pussing out, okay, people? I don't have time for pussies anymore. This world has gone a little too fucking far for me to back down now, and it's fucking all or nothing. I only expect the most and the hardest effort from everyone. I want to see 100% effort across the board. And you know what that means? That means you got to talk to your friends, and you got to tell them that the new shit has arrived. Here it is. Don't be scared. I don't care if they are skeptical, because I've already tested this for over 5 years, okay? It's not getting good testimonials for 5 years because it's a fake, okay? This is real, and I'm not waiting around anymore. I'm getting fed up with hippies that are just fucking pretending to be my friend. They don't even share the stuff with their friends when I give it to them for free. And my hip-hop guys are giving it and sharing it. So, I mean, like, one way or another, we got to do this. Paradigm shift. I'm not stereotyping. I'm not expecting hippies to save the world. I'm expecting people to save the world, one way or another.
Yeah.
So man up, everybody. Get the fuck out of bed. Quit sleeping. Pull weight. Don't be scared to put in effort. Don't be scared to jump when the alarm goes off. Don't forget about your snooze button, okay? We got work to do. We got missions. And MK Ultra is, I was just drunk, and I text messaged Brendon. I said MK. I said I'm Mission Killer Ultra. Because you can send me on any mission, and you know what? I can be drunk. I can be sleep deprived. I can be starving, as I often am in 2013 still. And I'll fuck these missions up. I will do destruction. I will fucking finish the shit. Like, you need a mission completed, consider it done. You don't ask to be part of G.I. Joe. You get asked. And everybody on the show, I'm asking you, be part of G.I. Joe with us. Let's do this fucking Free Spacelite Army shit. Fucking rock it all. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying, Joe. Like, I'm just wondering, like, what some other people are thinking and everything. Like, you're pretty, like, man, yeah, you're just like storming the norm, man, breaking the mold.
I got stuck in the elevator the other day for the first time ever.
I've had that happen to me. Yeah,
I was yelling. I was like, somebody better push the button. I was like, if you guys don't like going up the stairs all the time, I was like, you better get me out of here, because I will fuck this elevator up. I was like, get me out.
Okay, Joe, can we talk about like that meditation technique that you were telling me about? Like, because I just want to, like, you know, pass something on to the people before, like, the show ends.
Okay.
Because I think they get the message about stepping it up. So, like, among other things, like, yeah, like, they got to order their Spacelite.
I'm rewarding you all.
Go ahead.
I'm rewarding everybody with something that Brendon has been holding out on you for quite some time. He's known about this for over a year, and he's not told it because maybe it wasn't the right time or whatever. The Illuminati is a term for people who know a secret of mental mastery, like being able to master your mind and how powerful it is, because it's so powerful that the mind is like the key to fucking success, basically. And whatever, like, forget about whoever thinks that they're Illuminati. Okay, I got news for you. Right now, I'm declaring this. We are the New World Order. We are the Illuminati. And we got the shit on lockdown. And no one's going to stop this from happening, because we got missions. And we're going to be killing them. And here's one of the missions that I want everybody to try out. And it goes along with Brendon's lucidity mission, dream journey to lucidity. When you're lucid in your dream, you can see what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Imagine in your mind, like, say you're meditating, you're activating your dream eye, your third eye, your mind's eye, your indigo chakra, and you're seeing stuff visually in your mind's eye. Now, I want you to see, the only thing, I don't care about anything else, the sun or the color white. That's it. Imagine you're walking on ice and you're looking at the reflection of the sun, the brightness. You're going to feel it. You're going to be in a dream. You're going to be vividly shining, like, light in your eyes. Like, you can feel the heat and the brightness, and it's going to feel real and you're in your dream, and your eyes are closed, and it actually looks real, and it's going to activate a central core of your neural system, the corpus callosum, two sides of the brain connecting hemispheres to balance 100%, and goes down your spinal cord, activates all these glands. That's the illumination. That's Illuminati shit. Neural Dorda, Spacelite, up in the easy representing it. I'm going to go get my friend to do some freestyle before the show's over.
Yeah, don't want to do it. So, yeah.
He might really gangster. Like, I don't know. He might say some crazy stuff that'll scare you guys, but
that's perfect. Love bring on a little flow tree. But yeah, like, so Joe's talking about like visualizing like literally the light of the sun in your mind's eye, like when you meditate and like work with that. So we won't be doing a meditation just because the show's gonna be wrapping up here in a couple minutes. But obviously, I encourage everybody to do it anytime. Yeah.
Imagine the Earth is humming right now. The Earth is vibrating like boom, 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 boom. The Earth is humming as we're fucking flying through space. When you see the shit in your mind like that, your brain is actually going to the same brainwave as the sun is putting out electromagnetically. Like, it's science, okay? I don't want to get into this, like, because I'm totally drunk and it's a short show, but I'm telling you, Illuminati, fucking, we own this on the top of the shit. Hey, unless you know anybody else that got Spacelite happening like we do.
Yeah. All right, okay, so we got 4 minutes left in the show, so everybody go to www.spacelite.net, and it's SPACELITE, or go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/Spacelite and facebook.com/Spacelite, and watch the movie, and, like, check Joe and me, and we like.
I walked outside with my socks on. Oh, my feet are wet. Fuck.
Do it, man. Mob it. Soldier up. Okay, so 3.5 minutes left in the show, so pass it off to your buddy and tell him to give us a short one.
Holy fuck, Brendon. You're awesome, man. Brendon, you've been giving me the greatest show. Eric, you ready to freestyle? Yeah,
all right, here
we go.
Go for it.
Jesus, not yet.
Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio.
You know what? Sometimes being a badass is just fucking right, you know? Being, like, a little bit aggressive on what you need is just where I'm going to get you
need
there.
Those outlaws. Yeah.
I'm not saying to fucking piss people off, but I skateboard over the road, okay? Down the yellow line if I have to. Shoulder check, make sure you don't get hit. Here it goes, bro.
All right, here we go. Go for it, man.
Have a good Maple Ridge. Eric Schrader, Maple Ridge, 26 years old on the mic. Yo, here we go. Yo, Maple Ridge, straight spitting my shit. Me and Joe, we straight getting the clip. I don't know if I can swear, but I'm gonna tear the rhymes. I rap a straight wear. Straight on my lungs, I have you sprung off your feet. Have you defeat before you get out of your seat. Turn you into meat. No one wants to meet me. Straight Curry G, cause I hold Z. Straight here down for the town. MRC 211s, 187s, Robin 211s, and 711s. Yo, here's the second verse. What's what it's worth? Spitting on my verse. Yo, hitting girls fast, busting on the road back, busting back and back, cause I hit track. Kinda nervous cause I'm on the radio, but you know I get the hose. I don't know if I can say that, but can't hit fucking replay back. Yo, this is the shit. I ain't an addict. I never fucking smoke crack. I'm fucking all about weed. I'm natural. Believe that. Probably the end of the show. Brendon knows I'm fucking 100% with my foils. I fucking got hip-hop, fucking gangsters all my fucking cross the gang cities of the North America. Yo, spitting flow fast. Straight busting a whole bag.
Yeah, man.
Me and my bros back. Put 102 in your straight back. I smoke 50 lines. I take 50 times. I take 50 rhymes. Straight real from the heart is what it's worth. I work it this for the German in me. To come right now with spit and niggas forget me. They're not down, Joe.
All right, guys. I think we'll not to cut you off, guys. We'll have to save some for later, but I'm just gonna wrap up the show here. So thank you to Eric and thank you to Joe from Maple Ridge in Vancouver, British Columbia, and big shout out to them. And I just opened up my little book here that talks about 1001 Ways to Enlightenment, and the page that I opened it up to, it has a quote on it, and the quote says, "Give light and people will find the way." So that's spacelite.net, and obviously you should check that out because that's obviously what that's what that's talking about. And big thank you to Joe. He just dropped off the line there. And obviously check us out at facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and we'll have the after party hangout. So guys, stay your attention, and you'll find the link for that in the Facebook page in the next couple of seconds. And Rain, Jason, thank you for being on the show here tonight. And just last words as we sort of wrap things off here. You guys can just, any sort of closing message that you want to leave our people with?
I just want to say that the revolution is in the garden, the revolution is in the produce section, the revolution is on your bicycle. And so get to gardening, biking, and buying some fruits and vegetables. And the revolution, viva la revolution.
Yeah, the re-evolution. That's what this is about. So, Jason, any last words?
Nothing big, man. It's good talk.
Gratitude,
I'll say,
love.
revolution is everywhere, but it's good to hear some, people just like putting all their ideas out there, and I definitely hope that'll, keep going that way, where even when people know that they have something different that they're putting out there from, what, it might be completely different from what anyone else they know is saying, but people need to be able to feel empowered to be able to say that. So, thanks for bringing this all together, man.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for being here. And let's remember that the reason we're here is to listen with the intent to understand rather than just the intent to reply. So, Rain, you can play us out here with a little bit of music, and we'll start playing the outro music in a second. So, on behalf of myself and ParadigmShiftCentral.com, Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, I'm Skull Babylon. Add me at Facebook.com/SkullBabylon, YouTube.com/SkullBabylon, GoFundMe.com/Journey to Lucidity is where you'll find the link for that. Stay tuned for that. And until next time, we'll see you in the future. Take care, everyone.
At least we just a ride.
Thanks, man. All right, and we'll end it there.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.